listen-only mode.
Hello there. My name is Emily Helpland. I'm the International Advisor for ACPA Convention 2016 and also the Vice Chair of Outreach for the Commission for Global Student Development. Welcome to all of you joining this webinar, whether that's live or the recorded version. I'm delighted to be sharing some of my experiences since I have been a member of ACPA, an international member of that. And I hope you get something out of this as we get closer to the time which is just in over 2.5 weeks for convention to start. So let's get going with what this webinar will look like. So I will be sharing some of my personal experiences of ACPA convention as a non-US attendee. I'll also be sharing about specific jargon, language, and different types of sessions that you can all attend. I'll be sharing some of the avenues for involvement, whether that is at the convention itself or past the convention, and some practical advice about traveling, being in Montreal, and any further questions anybody may have. So a little about myself. I am currently based in the States. I'm a graduate student at Michigan State University, completing my second year of my master's in Student Affairs Administration. However, I worked in student affairs for over 10 years in the UK, predominantly in Staffordshire and in London, before coming to the US in 2014. I was actually born in Belgium and raised in Belgium and went to university there as well. So I have different experiences of different university education systems in different settings. So I decided to attend a convention in 2014. I had actually never really heard of ACPA, what it is, what it does, whether there were even professional organizations around this. So needless to say, it was a steep learning curve to find out really how this all works and how a convention of this size works, which I will share a little bit more about later. So I attended ACPA in 2014 in Indianapolis for the first time, at which I felt very overwhelmed. The sheer size of the conference, the different availability of sessions, the amount of people from different backgrounds who had been involved in ACPA, just me as a new one, or really being involved over 20 plus years. I had also not worked in the US or Canada before, which meant I had to adapt and learn quickly about higher ed specific language and also convention specific language, which I will share about a little bit later on. So I then also attended ACPA in Tampa last year, being already based in the US. So I appreciate that took not that big of a difference because I had been taught and had been working for about a short year really in the US. What I learned, the difference obviously between the year before and then, was I had already accustomed a lot more to the language and the jargon. I knew a lot more people as well. However, it was still overwhelming. I made sure that that year I pick and chose well what I felt comfortable with, what I wanted to learn, but also what I wanted to challenge myself in. And in that way, I used Twitter a lot as well to see on the horizon what was out there, who was out there, and who I wanted to connect with. So this year, as we are going up to Montreal, cold Montreal at that as well, I am excited more than anything to actually present at this conference as well, so making sure that the transition that some of you may face, that I can help with some of that. So by all means, I will share my details later on, and we're more than welcome to contact me before and during and after the convention as well. But I wanted to make sure that you knew the context of where I was at this point. So with regards to specifics of ACPA and the convention itself, if you are coming from outside of North America, there are many different things that either you should be aware of or perhaps hold in the back of your mind, and you can challenge that if you wish. You can go with that if you wish. But ACPA is an international organization. So we very much value the insights, and we very much value the attendance of people from all over the world. So we are delighted that you will be joining us. A few things in terms of a different higher education language. In the US specifically, there are a lot of functional areas that are referred to frequently, not just in the literature, but also in practice. So functional areas are basically the different areas that staff in student affairs or student services, for that matter, work in, meaning that could be going from residence education or residence life to health and wellness to financial aid, assessment. There are so many functional areas. So people in the US specifically tend to be more specialized rather than generalized because the field is so big, because there are so many institutions here. So I wanted to put that out there as well, particularly when you are looking at specific sessions that you may attend. People might just go into jargon or specific acronyms as well that are represented in specific functional areas. With regards to student affairs itself, student affairs in the US and somewhat in Canada as well is a very, in my eyes, established professional field, which I did not realize until up about 3 years ago. That's not to say that the work that we do outside of the US is not professionalized and not highly in regard. I guess the difference is that here in the US, the professional organization really drive forward the professional work that we do within student affairs. The field is much larger. There has been a lot more theory and literature around the notion of student affairs and what that is founded in, and particularly in the US then, those foundations are based on the holistic development of the student. And as a result of that, there is more of a chance to network with people. There's more of a chance to specialize yourself and really read more up about specific foundations from the field, which actually go back way into the 1930s. What you should also be aware of is that at convention as well, there will be many graduate students present. So there are graduate preparation programs, such as the one I'm doing at Michigan State University, that prepare professionals to be for the profession. There are master's programs, EDD programs, PhD programs, and the degree is usually required to be working in the field. Not all the time, but it's very much highly regarded if you do fulfill that degree. So it does mean there is a pipeline for the profession created, and that means at the moment, and particularly in my cohort, we have students from all walks of life with different backgrounds and different interests as well, working towards this degree over 2 years as a master or beyond for a PhD. So it's absolutely possible that you will be meeting students like me who will absolutely share their experiences, no doubt, of being a graduate student, but also being a professional. In terms of ACPA vocabulary as well, ACPA, so it's not ACPA, but ACPA used to stand for American College Personnel Association, but has been rebranded as College Education International to really emphasize professional elements that we welcome in our organization. And we want to make sure as well that we are live and open to that. So it's good to understand, if you are traveling from outside of the US and Canada, that the majority of the members are from the US, which is not a bad thing, of course, but we want to make sure as well that everybody's voice can be heard. So I would make sure that, to encourage you, that you should ask questions. You are absolutely encouraged to ask questions if something isn't clear, if there's something you are not sure about, or if there's something that you perhaps also disagree with, and very much to share your experiences, because we do definitely want to hear how higher education works around the world, which we acknowledge is very different according to contexts and cultures. I would also encourage everybody coming from all over to challenge the thinking of everybody, because we are all at the conference to learn. We are there to speak to people, we are there to network, but the crux of everything is that all of us are there to learn. In terms of the scale of ACPA itself, over the last few conventions that I have been to, there were actually thousands of people. So I would say when you try and prepare yourself and get a concept of this conference, if you've never attended before, it is large, it is huge. You will be seeing so many people, so many different faces, and sometimes that's really overwhelming and hard, and emotionally that can be draining as well. So make sure you take time for yourself and prepare yourself for the fact that you are going into a large convention center with sessions taking place at the Palais, but also in hotels, and there will be a lot of walking around. If you are needing accommodations to support you in accessing rooms, make sure you speak to the registration desk or any ACPA staff member or volunteer, because we can make sure we can support you in that. In terms of the scale, the next slide will tell you more as well about the types of sessions and things that you can get involved in. So just prepare yourself for the fact that a lot can be happening from, let's say, 8 a.m. until late into the night, because we offer so many different things. The important part to remember, of course, is you are not required, and it's impossible to attend everything. So make sure that you download the Cloud Compass app if you have a device that can support those apps, because you can already start putting together your schedule at the moment. In terms of ACPA itself, ACPA was founded in 1924 and has nearly 7,500 members representing 1,200 private and public institutions from across the U.S. and from around the world. So this also emphasizes the scale of not just the convention, but really our organization. So members, as I said earlier, include graduate and undergraduate students as well, enrolled in student affairs and higher education programs, faculty, and student affairs educators from entry level to senior level student affairs organization officers. So really you have the chance to connect with so many different people, people who are not even in the field yet, people who are thinking about going into the field, and people who are absolute experts at what they do, whether they are practitioners or faculty. And lastly, on that slide also was mentioned to find an ACPA ambassador. We have an ambassador scheme that includes just over 100 current professionals, new professionals, or graduate students as well, who will be very visible at ACPA convention for you. They also have a Twitter account at ACPA ambassadors, and they are there to help you connect with people. So make sure you find those people as well, or connect with them beforehand. So in terms of the types of sessions that you can attend, these are all the sessions that I will be going into. Most of these are fully included in the program that you have signed up for and paid for. So apart from the pre-convention workshops and the international colloquium, everything is included for you. So the vast range of activities and sessions that we have for you, that is included in your package that you signed up for. In terms of pre-convention workshops, most of these are taking place on Saturday the 5th of March and or Sunday the 6th of March before the official opening of convention, which takes place on Sunday evening. These sessions provide opportunities for any attendee to engage in deep, sustained dialogue and learning on contemporary issues that a lot of us face as student affairs professionals. They vary in length. They could be a full day, they could be a half day in the morning or the afternoon, and some of them can even take 2 days. Examples of some of these are about courageous leadership, about feminist leadership. There's also a study tour showcasing Montreal's post-secondary landscape. There are Native American, Indian, and Aboriginal First Nations Student Support Service workshops, collegiate mental health, navigating the mid-level job search, African American male and female summits. There are many, many different ones for you to tap into. You do need to register for these, and it's still absolutely possible for you to register for them as well. They do come at an extra cost. Most of them are $75 and include lunch, apart from our international colloquium, which is $40 and does not include lunch. I would like to emphasize the international colloquium as well, because that's part of the Commission of Global Student Development. and is a wonderful program that takes place excuse me, that takes place on the Saturday from 8 a.m. till 4:30 a.m. And it gives a chance to network and interact with people from all over the world, actually. And we really delve a little bit deeper in this colloquium around defining and developing global competencies in student affairs and student services, whether that's for us professionals and whether that's for our students that we support as well. So I very much encourage you to attend this if you will be in Montreal already. As I mentioned, you can still sign up for it, and we would love to see you in the colloquium. In terms of other sessions that you can attend, there are many, many different ones, such as educational sessions, some of which are excuse me, some of which are extended sessions as well. There are poster presentations, keynotes to open and close, receptions, Genius Labs, which are more the techie side of everything that's being offered. There's a large exhibition hall that showcases some of the companies and organizations that ACPA or some of the colleges and universities here work with. There's a book fair there. There are many different things to get involved with, and as I mentioned before, it can absolutely get overwhelming. So I would encourage people to really look at a variety of sessions and perhaps also making sure that you schedule in a break between, because they can run or even overlap at times, so you are physically unable to attend all of them. As I mentioned before, download the Crowd Compass app, or even when you look on the website of the convention, the full program is available at this point. In terms of other things that are available at ACPA convention and also throughout the whole year, we have different kinds of groups and commissions and coalitions. So entity groups that really look at either identities or job or functional areas that people can work in. The first group of entity group is called coalitions, and you can see the link there that guides you to the 6 different coalitions that we have within ACPA. So they are groups that are at the forefront of issues of inclusion and social justice. And the coalitions are unique entities in the way that they represent and act as advocates for the social identities of those members of ACPA. So unlike the commissions that I will talk about in a little while, the coalitions represent who we are and what we bring to ourselves, to our profession, and also to the organization. These coalitions provide mentoring opportunities, promote relevant scholarship, produce publications, sponsor programs throughout the whole convention as well, and socials during the convention as well. So you may see as you pick up, when you register, as you pick up your badge, you will be able to identify with certain identities or define the pronouns that you wish to use according to your gender preference. And these are really wanting to make sure that you visibly show what you're interested in so people can connect further with that as an icebreaker without needing to know who you are. In terms of commissions, we have currently 20 commissions within the organization, and they represent the job or functional areas and professional specializations within ACPA and the membership. So most commissions offer electronic updates and newsletters. They provide opportunities for educational programs and networking at the convention, and offer programs and services to members. Members, like me, can volunteer for activities including leadership positions within the commission, and individuals can indicate which commissions you'd like to join when becoming an ACPA member. So when you became an ACPA member to sign up for convention, or you were already a member, or you're still thinking of a member, this is a great draw that you can make sure you sign up or update your membership list on the committee's page online. There are no additional costs to be a member of any of the commission, so that means you can tick the right box, so to say, according to your interest areas or your needs. And some examples of these commissions are the Wellness Commission, the Commission for Student Involvement, Student Conduct and Legal Issues, Spirituality, Faith, Religion and Meaning, Housing and Residence Life, Safety, and so on. As I mentioned, there are 20 of them. With regards to the final entity group, so to say, we have different communities of practice, of which the main one currently is the mid-level community practice, meaning this is the stage in the career, so to say, where some people have already worked a little bit in beyond entry level in the field, but are not at the level yet of senior professionalism. So there is a whole community where people at mid-level status, so to say, come together, share experiences, and again, work very much on the basis like Commission and Coalitions, where they share publications, meetings, webinars, presentations, newsletters, and so on. Excuse me. So more to what I alluded to earlier, in terms of the educational sessions, um, as I mentioned, extended sessions were included in that, so they can actually run over 2 blocks of time. The Commission and Coalitions, that I mentioned before, they also have open meetings that anybody is welcome to attend. The receptions are often hosted by either commissions and coalitions, but also by colleges or universities who try and bring back alumni, but also current students or people who have an interest in connecting with people from certain universities and colleges. Celebrate CPA and Culture Fest are great events to really introduce you to our organization, which takes place on the first evening after the opening keynote on the Sunday. And they showcase not just what the organization stands for and who we are and everybody who is involved in it, but really also start setting the tone around the themes that you will see occur not just at the conference, but also what goes on in the world at the moment. There is also a great event called the Idea Generator, which is presented by senior professionals and faculty who talk about current issues in higher education at the moment, which you are encouraged to attend and also can actively participate in. With regards to town hall, a town hall in the strictest sense of the word, so to say, as I know it in the US, is really an open forum meeting, which usually includes senior leadership of the organization that shares what is going on in the organization and what the future may hold for the organization, and really is an interactive meeting for people to consider what the issues are and to talk about those issues, but obviously a big size meeting. The Commission for Graduate Students and New Professional also hosts a very, very great and well-attended cabaret, which comes at an extra cost, which you can sign up for either now online already. You can buy tickets for that, but I'm sure you will be able to purchase tickets as well as you arrive in Montreal. I would very much encourage you to attend an orientation to convention session, because I appreciate the fact that I have been talking a lot now about the different kinds of sessions you can attend without you having a feel of what the space looks like. So the orientation will include not just those coming from outside of the North America, but also new attendees or people who may have not come to ACPA convention in a while. In terms of how you can get involved in ACPA at this point, people have been tweeting and Instagramming and Facebooking profusely with the hashtag ACPA16, so you can start the conversation now. You can get involved in the conversation, or you can watch the conversation as well. People are promoting their sessions, are sharing their excitement for conference, are sharing what there is to do in and around Montreal, so you can get a feel for the great city in Canada as well. So I would encourage you to have a look at social media if you are using those avenues. As I mentioned before, definitely download the Crowd Compass app and put your own schedule together. You can look at different schedules per day. You can consider where your interest lies in different programs, or you can even find particular faculty or professionals that you may want to interact with. You can find those in the app and find what sessions they will be part of, so you can attend the sessions together with them. And of course, I want to make sure that you are aware of our commission-sponsored events and sessions. With regards to the specific sessions, we host an open meeting. We host a reception, which is a fantastic reception that Dr. Love also usually attends, and everybody from the commission will be present as well. And we have a vast range, and particularly this convention, of sponsored sessions through our commission because the conference is outside of the US for the first time. A little bit about how I got involved in the commission. I consider this commission and ACPA to be my home from home, so to say. And the first time I heard about the commission was actually at the convention for the International Colloquium back in Indianapolis 2 years ago. And straight away, I felt very welcomed by the US and non-US attendees within the colloquium, because I found it to be a small space where my value and my opinions and my experiences were very much valued, and where people showed an interest in finding out about them, but also a space where I felt I could ask questions and a willingness to hear and share what people have to bring to the table. So that was my first interaction 2 years ago, and since then I have become very close to people on within my commission. We have a Facebook page that you can find and definitely become a member of. So if you just find Commission for Global Student Development, ACPA Commission for Global Student Development online on Facebook, join the group. We have lots of interesting conversations going on there about current trends and issues, and we are also sharing some of our thoughts, definitely leading up to the convention. You can, of course, get involved in the commission as well. We have different roles available in terms of leadership or being a member at large, or just showing interest in the topics that we talk about and share throughout the convention and beyond. In terms of getting involved in ACPA itself, I would also encourage you to volunteer, because that's something I did in my first year as well. I went alone to conference. I did not know anybody there apart from 1 or 2 people from Michigan State, and I threw myself into it. I volunteered. I was at the registration desk and straight away got to know some wonderful colleagues and managed to interact with loads and loads of people who are registering at the desk. And it's also a great way to get to know the city that hosts conventions as well. So some practical advice. I want to make sure, in comparison to maybe some conventions or conferences you've attended before, that indeed no food is included in your booking, and the hotel needs to be booked separately as well. So if you have not booked your hotel, I would encourage you to do that as soon as possible, because that's not part of the registration fee. In terms of food, it's Montreal. It's one of the greatest multicultural cities on this continent, so there will be plenty of opportunities to have different kinds of food, but making sure that you look after yourself as well. I usually keep some snacks with me throughout the day, and schedule in different breaks to make sure that I eat and rest and re-energize, and also reflect on the conversations that I've had and the sessions that I've attended, particularly when people are talking in what feels like a different language, even though it may not necessarily be a different language. Loads of us have written blogs in the run-up to ACPA, for which you can find the link on there, and it shares experiences around Montreal itself, or how you can navigate the conference. And there's also a blog from me talking about similar topics that I talked about today. I would also very much encourage you to enjoy Montreal, and making sure that you get to know the city, explore a little bit. Make sure you bring a big coat and all the items that you may be associated with cold. For those of you who talk in Celsius, I'm going to guess that the weather throughout the conference will be around -5 or 6, the temperatures. So make sure you accommodate for that. Of course, inside it will be nice temperatures. Take time to speak to other attendees, I would say, whether they are from the US, whether they are from Canada, or from any country around the world. we are all going to learn something, and don't be shy to approach somebody. From my experience too, the fact when you are in sessions and you introduce yourself, when you state that you are coming from outside of the US, people are really interested in hearing more about the work that you do. So the chances are that people will approach you. That can also at times get a little bit tiring, because of the amount of processing that you do and the energy you spend on that. But by all means, therefore, bring your business cards to make sure that you can stay connected with the people that you've interacted with, beyond conference. I bring my business cards and I make sure that the ones I receive at the back, I write on there more specifics of my conversation I had with people to make sure I remember them when I email them or when they email me, because there is the opportunity to meet so many different people. There's also the consideration of what role ACPA can play in your professional life beyond convention, whether you are based in North America or outside. ACPA offers so many different smaller conventions or conferences or webinars and lots of different opportunities to still connect with people through the literature that is produced as well and the publications that are out there. So I would say if this is the first time you are involved in ACPA, this is a wonderful and great introduction, but don't stop there. Make sure I read the publications that I receive on a regular basis. I make sure that I read the publications of the commissions and coalitions that I have an interest in. And like I mentioned before, there are many, many avenues for you to play a role in the different commissions and coalitions. So I would say make sure you connect yourself beforehand if you feel like it, during and also after, because there are many ways that you can really make the most out of your membership or the start that you made with us coming to ACPA for the first time. So I don't know at this point whether anybody has any questions, but if there are no further questions at this point, I would very much encourage you to contact me on my email address, which is healthane1@msu, Michigan State University.edu, or you can connect with me on Twitter as well. My avatar is at Emily Helften, EMELIEHELFEN. I very much look forward to seeing you all in Montreal, to connect with you beforehand, during conference, or afterwards. And by all means, if you have any questions at all, I'm here to answer them, or if I cannot answer them, I will make sure I find the right person who can get those answers for you. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time. Thank you.